Well. Welcome back, Capri. Hey, this is so strange, but hello, booktubing world. It is I, Capri Nicole, and I'm back with another video after I haven't filmed for like 6 months, I think, because I've been away for work and I had all kind of equipment issues. I didn't have my camera. I had to get a new phone. I had to get a new laptop. I had to do all these new things, and I saved for 6 months to be able to get a new MacBook, so I now have a way to edit so you guys don't have to sit through a full unedited video. I actually get to put things into my videos now, which is awesome. And I also got a camera, which I don't know how to work, so right now I'm using my phone because it's just more convenient and it's faster. Apple, since the last time that I had a MacBook, has gotten rid of the regular adapter.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
So it's just more convenient for me to just film on my phone right now because, yeah, I was so excited to get all this new equipment, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be awesome. And then I got all the new equipment and I just was like, okay, now what? Talking is not a problem that I'm going to have. I know usually when people come back to YouTube and they get back to film, they're just like, oh, it's so awkward to be in front of the camera. Oh, it's so awkward to talk. Like, talking is not my problem. It's just like all this new shit that I have is going to be a little bit difficult. But I'm getting ready to go to brunch, so I feel like I should film this video today. By the time this video is posted, it will be my birthday. My birthday is May 6th. I'm grateful to be back, grateful to be able to babble about books and film and edit and get back into the swing of things. So just bear with me as I figure out how to navigate through those new items, you know what I'm saying? Today, this setup is not what you guys are used to. You guys are used to seeing all these Billy bookshelves and all this crazy stuff, but your girl is away for work, so I had to make my own bookshelf. This is as close as I'm going to get to a bookshelf.
Ah, the ghetto! The ghetto!
I'm really honestly shocked at the amount of books that I've bought since I've been here, but at the same time, not really. Today, I wanted to talk about some tips for people that have short attention spans like I do. I always have all these insane goals for things that I want to read, reading goals, how many books I want to read for the year, blah blah blah. But when it comes to like sitting down and sitting still for a long amount of time, I really struggle with that because I think about all the millions of other things that I could be doing. My brain is usually like on 55 different planets. So I came up with these little tips to help my fellow short attention span people out because I myself have the attention span of a small squirrel. So I'll probably get in about 10-15 pages and then I'm just gonna have to like pause or something. So I really want to sit down and try to figure out different ways that I can read for longer or like get more reading done, just because this year I don't know what crack I was smoking, but I really lost my mind when I decided to set my reading goal for the year for 100 books. I am currently 20 books behind schedule, so it's not going well, but I'm going to eventually catch up on my reading goal. But I do want to be able to read 100 books this year. It's just like a goal that I feel like I can accomplish, but I'm still going to try my best. So let's get into these tips, you know what I'm saying? First tip, number one tip that I have is to ditch the phone, okay?
I just lost my dog. Nigga, my brother told me how to taste the bag. Get right in the field, I had to make a bag. The day he lost it, so wish I could take.
Like in today's day and age, there are so many different things you can do on your phone. You can play games, you can text, you can call, you got Twitter, you got YouTube, you got Snapchat, you got, what else is there? TikTok. I sounded old when I said that. It's like when people would say the Facebook. There's so many different sites that you can just get distracted from. So like sometimes you'll be reading and then your phone will just be sitting right there. Someone will text you, you'll go to text them back, and then all of a sudden you're on your phone for 3 hours and you don't realize it. So the number one tip that I have is to get rid of your phone. Whether you put it on your dresser, whether you sit it far away from you, whether you decide, okay, while I'm reading right now, I'm just not going to respond to text. I'll put my phone do not disturb. Whatever you have to do, you need to get rid of the phone. That is the number one thing you have to do, because that is one of my biggest distractions. Anytime that I'm reading, if I don't pay attention to my phone or if I don't touch my phone, I'm perfectly fine. I get plenty of reading done. The next tip that I have is to set interval times. So like for me, A lot of people, it's so amazing to me and so fascinating to me when I see people just like sit down and they read for like 6 hours or like 3 hours straight, and they like don't stop, they don't get distracted. Like whenever I see like reading vlogs where people like sit down and they're like, okay, it's 11 o'clock, and then they come back and they're like, all right, it's 3 o'clock, I've been reading for the past few hours. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like I don't, how do you do that? I genuinely don't know how to do that. So for me, my tip is to set interval time. So usually my best intervals are probably like 30 minutes, because like the first 5 minutes is like me trying to get into the book, and then the next 25 minutes I can get into like a good flow. Especially if I've already been reading the book, it's easy for me to get into the swing of things. So I just set interval times. I usually set it like on my timer, and I like prop it up so I can see like how much I've read, how far I have to go, whatever, so that like by the end of the timer I feel like I've accomplished something. And it's easier for me to get lost in the book if I have a period of time that I'm reading, instead of me just trying to read straight through. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know. When I was younger, I think I could do that. Like I would just like disappear and just like go in the backyard or go to the library and read for like the entire day. But like now that I'm an adult and I have so many different things that I'm thinking about, I cannot sit still for like long increments of time. That's my second tip. Okay, so my third tip is, some people do better at reading with silence. I can read when there's a lot going on around me, and I read fine if it's quiet. But for me personally, my third tip is to listen to music. So I usually have like a playlist that has like classical music or like piano music or like instrumentals of like my favorite songs. Or like on YouTube there is this page that's called like Lofi or whatever that everyone listens to. It's like live music of like this girl like sitting in her room, and it's just like gentle piano like slow music that keeps you like focused for studying or for reading or for whatever. I also follow Quizlet, and I like it because it has a black girl on it, so I do watch that one more. I'll link the Quizlet one below because I really love that one. So I usually listen to that, and it helps me pay attention to my reading. So I'll just like pop a headphone in, or I'll like play the music out loud while I'm reading, and it just helps me just focus on my book. Like if I have like music playing, it just helps me get into like a rhythm. There's also like common rooms for like whatever your house is, Harry Potter, stuff like that. I know we don't like J.K. Rowling in this house. I used to listen to the Slytherin common room, which is just like people turning pages, fire crackling in the background, stuff like that. Just things that are like soft noises, so it's not like too quiet. But my biggest suggestion is to like listen to like slow music, common rooms, ASMR stuff, like things that have like soft sounds that help you focus on what you're reading. So get into it. I'll link some of my favorite ones in the description box below, you know what I'm saying. And while you're down there, make sure you follow your girl on Instagram, because I've been doing my best to post more on Instagram, and I honestly, I'm pretty proud. Like I've been doing pretty good. It's not like 100% consistent, but I think I'm doing pretty good. So follow your girl on Instagram and Twitter and Goodreads. Thank you. So my fourth tip is to alternate between physical and audiobook. I know a lot of people do this whenever they're like in a reading slump. They'll like alternate between reading like a physical book and an audiobook. But sometimes like once you start a book, it's kind of hard to get into it. So sometimes if the audiobook is available on Scribd or Audible, or if one of your friends can send you like a quick link to log into their account to listen to the start of the audiobook to help you get into it, and then switch to physical. Like when it comes to audiobook, like it just helps you like really get your pages in, and then once you switch to physical, you can see how much you've read. So for me, it definitely helps me focus on like how much I'm reading, how far I'm getting, when I can like flop in between the two, because it's different forms of reading. So it helps me just like do better and focus longer. So the next thing that I have is for people that are very busy. I like to do this. I like to make a to-do list of things that I need to do, and in between each thing that I do, I'll read for like a certain amount of time. So like I'll make a to-do list, and then in between each item that I do, I put like read for 20 minutes, read for an hour, read for 30 minutes, whatever. It helps me like get multiple things done at the same time. And because I'm like thinking about my to-do list, but also thinking about, okay, once I do this, I can read, it makes me focus harder when I get to read, because it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like, okay, it's like a treat, kind of like, okay, I just cleaned my room or whatever, or I just paid my bills, or I just did whatever, so now I can read for like 20 minutes. So it's kind of like it's like trying to get to a goal, and then when you get to it, it makes me focus more. So it's like, okay, finally I've done all the adulting shit that I need to do. I can finally like unplug and read, and it really makes me just like dive into the book harder, like head first, because I'm like doing one thing and then boom, reading is like the treat at the end. So there's a big trend on booktube right now that people are doing like reading sprints and read with me, hang out with me, whatever, stuff like that. And I honestly think that it helps a lot of people, because sometimes it's like hard to focus on reading if you're reading by yourself. People usually read better if there's someone there with them, or like if they have someone to talk to. Most of us, our friends are online and with the pandemic like still being alive and well, most of the time you are by yourself. So a lot of booktubers have been doing like read with me's or reading sprints or hang out with me, stuff like that. I really like those. Like I know it's like a trend right now, and I don't know if it's gonna die down because I've been seeing so many people do it, but I really like that, and I hope that people keep doing it. But reading sprints are when people just like hang out, and like the person that's hosting it will just talking for like 20 minutes, and then they'll be like, okay, we're gonna read for 25 minutes, and they'll set a timer, and then they'll come back and they'll answer questions, and everybody's talking and hanging out or whatever, and then they go back to reading. My favorite is Haley, because she does like really long ones. So do like 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. So I like hers because they're long periods of times. I also like the Powerpuff Girls, if you guys don't know, which is books with Chloe, Jamie, and Catherine. They're 3 booktubers who usually do reading sprints together, and Irish Reader usually does it with them sometimes too. I like their reading sprints because like it's just like they get along so well. So like their chemistry and stuff like that makes it feel like you're like hanging out with friends, and it's kind of like a big sleepover. So that makes it easier and exciting to read because you have other people like talking about the books they're reading and what their goals are, and then they go back to like just talking about regular stuff. And just those increments, like I said earlier, with like setting timers, I think it really does help people focus. I really like Monica Kim's Read With Me because she had like fire crackling in the background, and I just love her entire aesthetic. It's just like her book area is just like so colorful and it's so beautiful. So that is my next tip, to check out Read With Me's, check out reading sprints, check out hang out with me's, you know, whatever works for you. So the last and final tip that I have is to make little sticky notes. I usually separate my pages whenever I do a buddy read. Like just seeing what I'm trying to get to helps me focus on the book more, or like try to get to that sticky tab. Sometimes on the sticky tabs I'll have like little like treats, like okay, when you get to this sticky tab you get some candy. Okay, when you get this sticky tab you can like call your mom, or get to this sticky tab you stretch, or get to this sticky tab and you do this. Like it's kind of like, in a way it's kind of like having a to-do list, but like this is more like treats. So I have to it's sad, but I do have to trick myself into like reading and paying attention, because like I said, my attention span is that of a squirrel, because I do have big reading goals. Like I said, 100 books for the year. So I have to find different ways to like trick myself into thinking I have a long attention span when I really don't. That is my last tip, to make little sticky notes. And when you get to the sticky notes, to just like have something that you're going to do once you get there, like stretching, calling someone. I can get on Twitter, I can have a snack, okay, I'm gonna eat lunch, whatever, on each sticky tab. And it just makes you like trying to reach to a goal, tricking yourself into having a long attention span, tricking yourself into reading more. So it just feels better than like reading for like 40 minutes and then only finishing 5 pages because you were thinking about 55 different things, which has happened to me multiple times. So just like seeing those huge chunks and getting them done definitely helps, and just like cheers me on in a way. Yeah, that's it. This is my little notebook. Very beautiful, thank you. Everybody has like 55 million notebooks on BookTube. I'm hungry. I've been thinking about this pasta for an entire week, so I'm ready to go. But I hope everybody is having a great 2021. So far 2021 has been actually really good to me, aside from work driving me absolutely insane. Things have been going really well, so I hope everyone's having a good year. I hope everyone's having a good spring. Thank you so this is weird. Thank you so much for watching. I don't even remember what my closing, oh okay, I remembered it. Always remember, read a book, keep your life interesting, and I will see you next time.